Welcome back. Now I'm going to make for you fresh raspberry cheese Danish, just for 2 people. Now I want you to notice that I have rolled out here already some crescent rolls, and they sell crescent rolls with just either 8 crescent rolls or 4 crescent rolls. This is the 4-ounce container of just 4 crescent rolls. So I've got it on here on a piece of wax paper that's been sprayed with nonstick cooking spray, and I'm going to just perforate, pinch the perforations together to make it so that there's no holes in it. Then I'm going to cut it into 4 pieces. And I'm just going to set, that didn't cut well. I sharpened these knives this morning. I'm going to set those aside for a minute, and I'm going to spray this again, and I'm going to just roll it out. Whoop. And then I've got, I'm going to just spray these so that I can randomly put it in. Now what I'm going to do here is put my dough inside one of my muffin cups now, and I'm going to make a little well. All right, and I'm going to do that with all 4 of these. Just roll those out. Put all 4 of them in here. And again, make the little well, because that's where the filling is going to go. Don't roll it out too much. I got this idea because one day it was a snowstorm, and I really wanted a strawberry, raspberry, some kind of a fruit cheese Danish. And I didn't want to go out. So I thought, you know, I've got some crescent rolls in here. You can be very creative with crescent rolls. I've got a couple of recipes actually in my cookbook that involve crescent rolls. But I just came up with this, and the first time I did it, it came out perfect. That doesn't always happen, by the way. But this time it did. All right, so I got my little wells here. And I'm going to set that aside. I've got 3 ounces of softened cream cheese, and I'm going to add to that 4 teaspoons of sugar and 1/4 teaspoon of vanilla extract and 1 egg yolk. Now I'm going to separate this. I'm going to keep the egg white, and you'll see why later. I'm going to set that aside. Then I'm going to take I think I'm going to mash this up a little bit with my spatula first. Now you don't want to use an electric mixer for this. The thing about cooking for 2 people when you're using an electric mixer is usually there's not enough food ingredients that most of it will stick to the electric mixer, so you don't want to do that. Now this looks very yellow, but it won't in a minute. Now, this is the best way I have found to do it. You kind of smush it up first with a spatula, and then you take a wire whisk. I love wire whisks. I have probably 10 of them in all different sizes. And just whip that up real well. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a spoon that I forgot to set out. Try to prep everything. You know, doesn't always work. Okay, and I'm going to put a little bit, I'm just going to divide this into 4 sections and put a little bit of this cheese filling mixture inside my crescent rolls. Now don't want to lose any of that. All right, that's good. Okay, now one thing I do want to let you know, that see how this perforation has separated? That's okay. If that happens, that's not a big deal. So now what I'm going to do is just kind of pull it out. The only reason why you use the muffin cup is because you want it to keep its shape. If you tried to put that on a flat surface, all of the cheese mixture would just kind of come out, and it would go flat, and you wouldn't have this nice little ball. So I have a jelly roll pan or a cookie sheet, either one. I've tucked all of this underneath here, and again, if it oozes out, it's not a big deal. I'm going to put it on a jelly roll pan that I have lined with aluminum foil because I don't feel like cleaning anything up. I never want to clean up. I like to cook. Cleaning up is not really my thing. So just going to take these and kind of like fold everything over. And you can pinch the sides if you want. Just try to make sure that it's not going to ooze out. And this is great. Okay, got a little fold in there. All right, and I got one more. And fold them over, pinch them. Okay, now see, I don't want to leave that. If I leave that, then that's definitely going to ooze out. Okay, now if the perforations here were open, that would be okay too. I'm going to flatten them just a little bit, but you want to be careful because you don't want to squish them too much. Okay, now I'm going to put them in a 375-degree oven for 16 minutes. And just put that on there. Now, ordinarily, if we weren't running out of time, what I would do is I would bake those for 16 minutes and then pull them out of the oven, and I would take the back of my teaspoon and make a little well in the center of it, and then put about a teaspoon of whatever kind of preserves that you like. I actually, in my cookbook, it's called a strawberry cheese Danish, but I have raspberry preserves today, so it doesn't matter. You can use orange marmalade. You can even use lemon curd if you want to, because then you're just going to cook it another 2 minutes just to make the preserves set inside there. And this is what it looks like when it comes out. There we go. Is that beautiful? Now the other thing is that when you take it out of the oven, so it cooks for about 16 minutes and they'll become a golden brown. And then what I forgot to do, I'm sorry, is I forgot to brush the ones that I have in there. You're supposed to brush it a little bit with an egg wash, and I forgot to do that. So, okay, so it's my first show, and that's the only thing that I really did really horribly bad. But that's what gave it this nice little golden, color. And when you take it out of the oven, you don't want to eat it right away because the cream cheese is like warm, so you don't want to do that. So you want to let it sit for about an hour. So these have been sitting for a little bit more than an hour, and that's even better. You can refrigerate these. As a matter of fact, if you're going to eat them the next day, you do want to make sure that you refrigerate them. They should only be out for no more than 3 hours, and that would be maximum because of the cream cheese. But look at how lovely those are. Take a bite. Mm, 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 mm. These are great. Listen, I so hope that you enjoyed this first episode of Aunt's Table for Two. I'll try not to make any more mistakes on my next show, but don't count on it. It won't happen. I'm going to be making many more mistakes, and you know what? The one thing that I do remember about Julia Child, I saw this probably about 10 years ago. It was the funniest thing. And I felt so relaxed when I started cooking because of this. She took a duck or something out of the oven and she put it on the counter. You know how she is, very, noble looking. She said, "Oh, this is horrible," and she threw it in the trash right on television. I loved it. So I hope you love today. That's all for today. Thank you so much for being here. And remember, when serving only two, there's no need to overdo. See you later.